And that's it. We're live. Yeah, let's start this. Fernando, you're the first one in my list. Do you want to go first?
Okay. For my part, yesterday I did some last tweak to the SSC basic types PR. Is already merged. Also, I just pushed the commit about the SSC list encoding out the code. So let's see if it is okay the code.
That's great. I will give the list one a review. Is it like ready for review or is it a work in progress?
Yeah, it's already for review with unit test.
Awesome. That's great to hear. So I will actually add a couple more issues for the following steps. I want to see how you went with the list ones. The basic types is perfect. Thank you. Thank you for the progress. Yeah, the next one is Tomas.
Yes, yesterday I started work on the get auxiliary function since there already was a tree module, but uh, it needed some refactors and it was just easier and faster to implement it with mapping one-to-one the code from the spec into Elixir code. Uh, I also integrated all the handlers with the fork choice test runner. Um, but since there are some functionality missing still, we we still need to implement. I didn't enable those tests; they are all skipped. Um, sorry. I think that's all.
Okay, cool. Mete?
I have implemented the leaf functions of process deposits. I'll be implementing the main process deposits function, and we'll be done with that.
Okay, great. So you're still with that, right? But and you wanted to do a networking issue afterwards?
Yeah, please.
Okay, perfect. We'll get you one. Thanks for the update. God's power.
Okay, good day everyone. Um, I was able to test. So yesterday I got on a call with Thomas, Mega and Martin, and they helped me be able to test. So what I did yesterday was I tested the gets become blocks by range. So I was able to take the response response chunk I got, and I was able to put it into the function pass response and pass chunk, and I was able to get the beacon state back, right? So that means that the data I sent can be deserialized into a block, right, which was matching the block that I serialized in the first place. So I think that um, that's like a good test. So, but it still depends on if we need to test it more, or that if that's enough test for it, then I think that would be like we'll be able to mesh that. Yeah, and today I would work on commit processing committee. I think yes, yeah, I was assigned that a while ago, so I'll work on that today while I wait on the response. If we are merging that or we have add more tests to it. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. I think that I'm the only one missing. I'm working on some more SSZ issues for Fernando after he finishes the lists one. It seems like he already finished that one, so I will just look at the PR first and then continue the work on the issue. Then I'm working on the workshops. One of the things that I'm doing is translating the Erlings. The Erlings is the Erlang exercises for Erlang. Sorry, the Lambda exercises for Erlang. So I'm translating those to Elixir just for anyone that wants to practice their skills on that. And at the same time, I figured out that the first workshop will be about like building a Gen server for the ground up, like which is, I think, it's one of the best ways to understand how it works and why it has callbacks like that. And Elixir is a pretty high language level, so it's not as hard to build something like that in Elixir. And it's a very like interesting way to, to just understand how it works and what it's used for. So yeah, I will be sending maybe a Doodle or a When is Good or any scheduling tools of that like that today, so that we can arrange a time that works for all of us, so we can have the first one. And yeah, that's it for me. If I get to actual more technical work, I'll go back to building a local testnet, but it's not. I'm prioritizing having the workshop finished first. And yeah, that's it for me. Any final comments or questions?
Yeah, I have like a couple of observations. Running the consensus clients on my computer. So first is um when you start running the consensus client after some minutes, um for me every device connected to the same Wi-Fi becomes really slow. It becomes really slow. That's one. And I ran the consensus client for about an hour, and it took like 50 gigs of of yeah, it took like 50 gigs of data,
Storage
and
space, yeah.
that's so basically these are like observations. I don't know if they are normal or it's just we need to like optimize in quotes. So those are like two observations I made. Yeah. So
No, those are extremely valid. I think that there are plenty of things that we need to optimize. I think that there's a trade-off here, right? Like you can focus on having like the basic MVP for a certain date, or you can focus on having like the most optimized version of it. The way we are doing it right now is trying to get like a one-to-one spec translation, and then when we have like all of the moving parts correctly connected, then we can move to optimizing. It's unfortunate. Like I fully agree with you. It isn't optimal that it takes so much. I think that there are some optimizations that we might do in the middle. Like for instance, I'm not sure if storage needs to grow that much that quick. Maybe one of the reasons is that we are not filtering the blocks that we save a lot. um, One of the reasons is that we should actually be using the execution client and using payload validation, and that probably would discard many blocks. And well, there's plenty of other validations that we're still not doing. So basically, we are probably, I don't have metrics for this yet, because if you're not doing the validations, you don't know how many spam you get, how much spam you get. But we're probably getting a lot of spam and we're saving it to the database. That's one very probable cause of the storage space being occupied so quickly.
um
Mega was a, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, so I wasn't actually talking about the storage space. I'm talking about
Oh,
like
memory,
having
like
50
RAM.
50 gigs of data. I don't know, like there's a way we do it. We buy like 50 gig of internet data. That's what I mean.
Ah, sorry,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
consume data.
that's what
Ah,
I meant.
perfect.
Yeah, not
I think, yeah,
the
I think
storage.
Mega was doing some research on that. I think that there's two things. On the one hand, it is true that inevitably we'll use a lot of bandwidth for the first minutes or so until we get all of the data up to date. On the other hand, one of the things that Mega found out is that peer. I don't know if this is actually related to this. Like he found out that we need to do at some point better peer scoring, because there are a lot of peers that don't answer us, and that causes a lot of retry, but I don't think the result of that is more bandwidth. Probably the other way around even. Yeah, we'll take a look on it. I would expect that the consensus client takes a lot of we should actually, if we want to measure it, we can compare it to another different client. Like we might run Lighthouse and Deku and see how they perform, just to have like a very quick grasp on like what's the usual bandwidth they take.
Okay.
Yeah, we might do some, like, I wouldn't call it a benchmark because it's not as serious, but we can do like a quick comparison. That's a good point. Thank you, Power.
Yeah. Okay. Something else I want to add is during the call
Yeah.
yesterday, I found out from Martin and like Thomas that we were actually receiving block um blocks by range requests. So I didn't know that. So when I changed the logger to info, I got one request. But unfortunately, I didn't get any other requests throughout the day. So I don't
Oh
know
no.
if they penalized us. I don't know because I didn't get any other request. Like I was running it for hours and I was waiting for just one one more request and I didn't get it. So I don't know if like they just stopped sending us requests. So I don't know if maybe it has to do with scoring or something. I don't know. So just something I found out.
That's a very good series of questions. I don't actually know, but we'll help you diagnose that. Yeah, I'm still not sure how other clients do scoring, so I wouldn't know what would fix your score. Like if turn it off and on again fixes anything, probably not. But we need to do some checks on that. It could be scoring. I'm not sure that's the case because we've been testing a lot of stuff and we are always getting blocks back again when we turn the clients on. So I'm not fully sure about that. But yeah, let's do some research on scoring. Maybe that will help.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Ghost Power. You raised a lot of very interesting things. We need to actually do research on most of them to have a clear answer. But that's great. Yeah, I think that we don't have anything else for today. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining, and I will see you all on Monday.